are joined, of course, by our AU Development Agency Goodwill Ambassador, Madam Yvonne Chaka Chaka. And it actually gives me such great pleasure and honor to invite her to the podium. But before she does come, I'd also just give me maybe 30 seconds just to sing your declarations as well, Madam. Right. Ms. Yvonne Chaka Chaka was appointed the AUDA Goodwill Ambassador last year in August 2018. And primarily because she's considered a role model throughout the African continent, where she's more easily known as, the Princess of Africa. In her work, she has demonstrated compassion for others throughout her illustrious career. She's promoted literacy, issues related to women and children's rights, and is also, as we all know, a champion in the fight against malaria. As Goodwill Ambassador of the AUDA, her public policy advocacy focuses on the promotion of health and nutrition as key responses and components in the fight against TB in Africa. So without any much further ado, Madam Yvonne Chaka Chaka, I'd like to invite you to take the podium.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you, everyone. It is just so amazing to be here. I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Mayaki and the whole NEDAP staff. I'm sure you've seen them. Can I ask them to rise so that you can see them? And when you need anything, pick the one that you want. Can I ask them all of them to rise? Please rise, everybody else. Well, these are our people who make everything happen, and I'd like to really thank them. As a mother of 4 boys and a lover of Africa, I think Africa is a beautiful continent. Africa is not the dark continent that everybody believes it to be. I just think that Africa is poorly managed. So to you young people, I want to ask you, where do you think Africa is today? What is the state of Africa? I need an answer. What is the state of Africa currently? I'm talking to the youth now. Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel or not? Answer me. You do? Yeah. You don't? We do. We do. Yes. But I think we can see the light at the end of the tunnel when our young people are part of the solution, isn't it? Yes. In 2009, I sat with a couple of young people and I came up with something called I Want to Be President, Leaders of the 21st Century. Because I believe that Africans, particularly our young people, are going to change things. I love our leaders because we can call Africa home today. But I think there's some mistakes that had been done. I'm very happy that Dr. Mayaki is here and he was the Prime Minister of Niger. I sit on different boards with Dr. Mayaki and I always ask him, you were the Prime Minister, tell me, why was the nonsense done in all these African countries? What can you do better now? I always ask him that. It's very good that we have a man like him who's walked the path. He's seen the mistakes, and he probably wants to rectify them, isn't it, Dr. Miyaki?
He's right.
Our African leaders have done a lot, but there's so many mistakes that have been done as well. I think because I'm not a politician, and I can say it, it's not our time to eat, as they always say. You know, when African leaders are in position, they don't want to leave. They always say, it's our time to eat. To eat what? Now it's you young people who have to not take arms, but stand up and say to the leaders, we want to be part of the solution. In 2012, I was invited by Madame Zuma to come to the AU to present the I Want to Be President, Leaders of the 21st Century project. Unfortunately, it's 2019 and it has not been done. Because a couple of presidents asked me, why do you say I want to be president? Do you want to take our jobs? I said no. I don't want to take your jobs, but I'm telling a child who is sitting in Kunu, or a child who's sitting somewhere in the outskirts of the DRC or in Rwanda or in Kenya or anywhere, that look at yourself and say, nobody owes me anything, but I owe myself to do something about the situation around me. A young robotics here, he's not white, he's black. So our thinking is always that we have to get white people or people from outside to do things for us. I believe in you, young people. Our leaders have tried, but some have messed up. It's a fact. We don't have to be afraid to say those things. Who said Africa must be dirty? Who said Africa must be a squalor, young people? Who said Africa should always be begging? I'm a UN Goodwill Ambassador as well, and I get a chance to speak to all the presidents and all the leaders and all the powers that be. Why should we always go out there and have a begging bowl? And you know what makes me angry? It's when our leaders are sitting at the AU and they are sleeping. Ooh, I could whip them. Now we want young people to be part of these forums, Dr. Mayaki. When our leaders go to the UN or to the AU, we need to have the forums for young people to come and engage with you. I want to be president. Leaders of the 21st century is advocating for that. So I want that guy who is in television to come. The television people didn't want to give me the money. SABC didn't want to give me the money. They said, Yvonne, you, when you're Africa and you're young people. But I'm not going to despair. It's going to happen. Because we want to see change. We constantly say the children are our future. You are our future, but you are for today. Nothing for you without you. You need to stand up and say that. Nothing for us without us. We can't cut your hair when you're not there. So when we do all these things, we need to bring the youth. And with a room full like this, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I believe that our young people may not have the experience that is required or that is needed, but you do think. Are you not thinkers? Yes, you are. So we need to make sure, the question that the other guy asked, to say, after this forum, what do we do? It's your job to go back to your constituency, find other young people who are like-minded like you, and come together. We are not here to compete. Thank you to NEDAP, a great development agency. We can only try. We can't be everywhere, every day. We can try and reach those who want to be reachable, like those who took part in this. We had 1,000 and even more entrances. So it shows that our work is being recognized and young people are starting to wake up and seeing what we are doing. We as adults can't always force you to do things. You also need to come and find us. So to those who won today and those who didn't win, you are winners, because that means you recognize the need of the young people and you recognize the work that the AU is doing, including NEDAP. So young people, make sure that when there are forums like this, you go in your countries, everywhere, knock on those doors until they break. I remember going to the World Economic Forum. There were some young people, and I was quite upset with one of the ministers from Kenya, because these young people went to him and said, we want to talk to you. And he said, just wait, I'm busy. And that made me very upset. And when these young people came and I spoke to them, he came rushing to me and I said, His Excellency, I think these young people need your attention than my attention. And he did give them time, because they needed to talk to him. So you as leaders have to avail yourself to these young people. Even at NEDAP or anywhere, I think there's a lot of bureaucracies. It's very difficult for these young people to knock at the doors. Those who are in those positions, you always close doors for them. Please do not do that. Open the doors and listen to the young people. the people who are there, they feel threatened and they don't want to listen to those. But as I said, we're not here to compete. We're here to complement each other and complete each other. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I think I love Africa. It is a beautiful continent, but we need to make sure that we don't live in squalor. We don't live in a dirty place, guys. We don't have to always complain about all those colonialism, those colonial, what? English, terrible. Colonialism. English is difficult. We don't have to complain about that. They were there at that particular time, but they built these beautiful buildings. And what did we do to them? We let them dilapidate. Why? Why do we always want to live in squalor? I always say to young people and to everybody, you don't have to live in a $5 million house, but clean your surroundings. Whether you live in a shack, whether you live in a small house, remember that cleanliness is next to godliness. So when you are not hungry, when there's good nutrition, when your place is clean around you, you are going to be able to wake up in the morning with pride. Even if you live in a shack, this is your beautiful shack, is clean, without any disease. We've got enough spaces, guys, where we can plant food. No one should go to bed hungry in Africa in this day and age. But we always want to be given. We always want somebody to think for us. We've got brains, we've got eyes, we've got everything that we need to be able to be what we want to be. So don't sit here and complain, guys. Doors are opened, doors will be opened. It is your duty to make sure that we become the change we want to see. To AU, to NEDAP, and all our partners, Old Mutual and other partners, we want you to be there for our young people. Money should not be a problem. When you come with new innovations, knock in all those doors until somebody helps you. So I really want to thank you for what you are doing. My doors are opened. By 2063, I will be like 95 years old, I'll be dead. So guys, let's do it for the sake of our children. We've chosen this path, let no one turn us around. This war we must win. Let's do it for the sake of our children. It will be done. So when you go back home, say to yourself, still so many answers I don't know. Realize to question is how we grow. So I step out of the ordinary. I can feel my soul ascending. I'm on my way, can't stop me now. You can do the same. What have you done today to make you feel proud? It's never too late to try. What have you done today to make you feel proud? What have you done today to make you feel proud? Yeah.